Russian pro-war bloggers are claiming that soldiers from North Korea have allegedly arrived in Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia region and may be preparing to fight near the town of Huliaypole. None of these claims has been independently verified. According to a Russian Telegram channel, a contingent described as representatives of friendly DPRK forces reportedly reached the frontline after completing, they claim, a 2-month training program on Russian training grounds. Head of Ukraine Center for Countering Disinformation, Andrii Kovalenko, reported that as of on November 25, no North Korean troops were spotted in the Zaporizhzhia region. After 2 months of training, representatives of friendly North Korea have arrived at the front. Guess the direction. It's a field, and you can walk there, a Russian military blogger wrote. This refers to a Ukrainian town, Huliaypole, which directly translates as a walkabout field. Ukrainian officials have not confirmed the presence of North Korean troops, and Western intelligence agencies have issued no statements supporting the claim. North Korea has supplied Russia with artillery shells, missiles, and ammunition in recent months, but direct troop deployment to Ukrainian territory remains unverified. Previously, North Korean personnel were involved in supporting Russian forces during fighting in Russia's Kursk region. Ukrainian forces entered the Kursk region in August 2024, taking control of over 1,000 square kilometers. Moscow later engaged North Korean troops in the fighting, the first such deployment, following a strategic partnership agreement signed by Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un that includes provisions for mutual military assistance. South Korean intelligence has estimated that North Korea sent roughly 10,000 military personnel to Russia in 2024. Earlier, North Korean combat engineers began mine-clearing operations in Russia's Kursk region, where Ukrainian forces fought Russian troops for more than 6 months. According to the Krasnaya Zvezda outlet, the North Korean personnel are clearing anti-tank and anti-personnel mines, including US-made Claymore devices and Finnish hailstorm mines, as well as various types of unexploded artillery ordnance. They were deployed only after undergoing additional training at Russian military engineering centers, the report said. In June, Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu said Kim Jong-un agreed to send an additional 6,000 personnel for demining and reconstruction, including 1,000 sappers. South Korean intelligence later reported that about 5,000 North Korean construction troops had been moving into Russia in successive groups since September. According to the Moscow Times, Russian officials say demining the border areas will take more than a year due to the extensive minefields left by Ukrainian defensive positions. Furthermore, North Korean state media highlighted Kim Jong-un's presence at the testing of various suicide drones. Kim emphasized their cost-effectiveness and critical role in modern warfare, calling for mass production. These drones could soon play a significant role in Russia's military operations in Ukraine. South Korea's National Intelligence Service predicts North Korea will balance its military collaboration with Russia while engaging in gray zone provocations, including GPS jamming and other covert operations. It has underlined the importance of robust US-South Korea intelligence sharing and readiness to counter potential provocations. These could range from a new nuclear test to additional missile launches, as Pyongyang seeks to strengthen its position against Washington.
The impending collapse of the Russian economy is already obvious, even to Russian propagandists, who are radically changing their rhetoric. They no longer want to go all the way to Kiev, but are demanding an immediate end to the war, warning that otherwise the Russian budget will face enormous problems. Thus, propagandist Dmitry Borisenko attributed the recent statement by Ivan Alexeyev, Minister of Finance of the Republic of Sakha, Yakutia, about suspending payments from the regional budget to veterans of the war against Ukraine, to the general deterioration of the economic situation in Russia. A video of the propagandist's statement was published on social media. According to him, if the Kremlin does not stop the so-called SVO in the near future, the Russian budget will face major difficulties. The propagandist doesn't believe the regional authorities' claims that funds will be found to pay the occupiers. He is convinced that the longer the war continues, the greater the economic problems Russia will face. Specifically, the Russian authorities will be unable to fulfill their obligations to pensioners, low-income families, large families, and other groups. Therefore, the propagandist hopes for an end to the active phase of the war in the near future. This will at least provide some respite for the Russian budget, he notes. At the same time, the propagandist emphasizes that the cessation of hostilities could change public sentiment in the Russian Federation. When military action fades into the background, citizens begin to pay more attention to domestic issues, the causes of the conflict, and accumulated social problems. According to him, if the war ends, the Russian regime could face increased public demand for explanations and assessments of the results. People will start asking questions, and the authorities understand this, he said. Recall, Russia is once again experiencing problems with regional military payments. In Yakutia, funds for war veterans have run out. Ivan Alexeyev, head of the local branch of the Ministry of Finance, announced this. According to him, the reason was a simple lack of funds in the regional budget. It was empty. The official assures that the authorities have already found the money and will soon restore payments. However, the pause arose because the Republic cannot estimate in advance how many people will require compensation. Starting in the summer of 2025, volunteers from Yakutia who signed contracts with the Ministry of Defense will be entitled to a one-time payment of approximately 2.7 million rubles. More than half of this amount will come from the regional budget, which is already under strain due to the war unleashed by Moscow. The Republic also provides compensation for injuries, starting at 500,000 rubles. In the event of the death of a combat veteran, the family receives 1 million rubles. However, all these payments are currently in question. The authorities are trying to plug holes in the budget and explain the failure by saying they cannot determine the number of recipients in advance. Alexeyev promises that payments will resume, but the situation once again demonstrates how war is taking a toll on the regions and their finances. The economic and social situation in Russia is deteriorating in all regions.